Oh. Alright. I thought she was already here. But hi, hello. We're meeting with Kiki. And then I'm ending stream. I know, I sound like death. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me. I know that I sound awful. I have been hydrating. I have been sleeping. I did not go to work today. Which sucks because I'm per diem. So I did not get paid for today. So that's $150 I did not make today.
I'm gonna call the fucking cops.
But as you can hear, it's not really conducive to going to work today. So we're gonna talk to Kiki. We're not gonna do the Wade talk today. We don't have any honey. Her first text to Wade is about how she does want to talk with him at some point. She just has Wade and Max left, who she needs to talk to about the Casey stuff. So there's that. So we're just waiting for Kiki. Don't know where she is. I really hope she's not incapacitated somewhere.
Hey, what's up, my dudes? Yo, what up?
Yeah. Because that would be unfortunate. That would be really unfortunate. So, the little bit of a breakdown, right? Why didn't Veronica want to tell Kiki? Veronica is overly paranoid and overly cautious. She does not want to end up making the same kind of
Holy cow!
misstep that she made at the end of January, where she said something, it got brought back to the ADMC, and then stuff happened from there. At least that's how she sees it. And while she trusts Kiki with her life, she doesn't necessarily trust that she's not going to say something to Winston. Like, even just, like, offhandedly or accidentally. And this is one of those things that, like, until it happens and she has that cut on her back, it's nobody's business outside of the club. Like, until that happens. She's having these conversations with the people closest to her so that they're not caught off guard if it happens, right? And, you know, Veronica is very aware of the fact that it might not happen because it has to be a unanimous vote. Yeah, I'm starting to think it's not allergies. I really, really think it's not allergies at this point, but mainly because I had a fever. But yeah, like, V knows, like, it's something that's gonna stay secret, like, if it happens, obviously. But, like, right now, it really is nobody else's business. It's her business, and it's the club's business, and she's sharing it with the people who matter most to her at Mason's recommendation. Honestly, it is Chad's business. It is. I'm sorry, vote on. I forgot. It is Chad's business. Should we status check Kiki soon? I think we should status check her soon. Because she was starting in Mirror Park.
Hello.
Hello, I'm just status checking you.
Yeah, sorry. I'm dashing over to Polito just like so fast to get some energy bars because I haven't had actual food today.
I have a California roll on me.
Just the one. I'm still gonna get a couple just in
Okay.
case.
Yeah,
Cause
I made it fresh this morning when I was prepping
nice.
stuff.
Oh, panther! Oh, panther! Oh, panther!
Kiki!
I fell off a bike. I fell off a bike, and this
Kiki!
panther. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm back on the bike. I just, as soon as I saw it, I hit it with my bike, and it kept running, and I flipped off my bike, and I was like, "Oh God, is it gonna flip around and come after me? Oh God." I'm
Alright.
good. I'm good. I'm
I'll
set.
see you when
I
you get
am.
here.
Yeah, I just got to the vending machine, so I'll be there in a minute.
Alright, bye.
All right, bye.
Alright, she's getting food. Expensive food, but food. So Rip, Mason and V and Polito. Because number 14 is gone. The only properties left in Polito are like really tiny ones. I mean, 13 is still left, but it only has the one garage slot. I'd have to see the interior of number 6, but that's also a lot of money. At this point, they're probably better off saving for Chumash. Which sucks, because I really want them to have a cute little Polito house. I mean, that's what I'm thinking, right? Is like, you know what? Fuck it. This is happening so that they can get a house in Chumash. Everyone's buying up houses. So, you know what? Everyone buying houses right now, like, they're not going to be able to buy in Chumash because they spent all their money on Polito houses. That's the way I'm choosing to see it. That's the way V is choosing to see it. Okay, Bodon. They're going with the one that looks like it on Barbareno. Assuming the interior is not like atrocious. Because it's a cute house. Okay. House V really wanted was Ashley Smith's old house that she was murdered in. Because she was murdered in it. That's the cursed thing. V wanted a murder house. I think most of them are, yeah. True, smashing. I mean, V and Randy's house in Mirror Park had a whole torture room side to it. Like, V quite literally built a torture room in her and Randy's Mirror Park house. Well, here's the thing. It's gonna be at least 3 stories. So it's probably not very wide, but it is very tall. But yeah. V reached the decision that she's going to tell Kiki about this after talking with both Balto and Mason. Because Mason even said to her, like, do you want the honest truth? Like, I think you are overcorrecting and overthinking. And you're still scared from earlier this year. And, like, it's true. She is still scared about saying the wrong thing to the wrong person. Not that she thinks Kiki's the wrong person. But, you know, V is going to have that fear. like in her for a long time, because her saying the wrong thing to the wrong person who she thought was not the wrong person, and like she was just venting to a friend, led to her almost losing Mason before they even became something serious. So she's gonna have that fear. Her talk with Wally was really good, and V has never seen Wally that serious. It's just a short stream, Audrey. It's just a short one. Because I'm like, you know what? I can't not stream this. I wish I had streamed the Rue conversation. I wish I had streamed the Dax conversation, and the Shirley conversation, and the Wally conversation. But I didn't think to in the moment, and then I was like, ah, fuck. Because I almost went live for the Wally conversation, but it was also like 3 o'clock in the morning. Because like these are the kinds of conversations that I would like to have like archived, you know? Because like if V becomes an old lady for the Raiders MC and is Mason's old lady, that's a major thing in her character arc, you know?
For real? I ain't even gonna run away.
I always forget to do this. Hello.
Hello.
So
What's
it's-
up?
Like I said the other day, it's nothing bad.
Okay.
However, for now, it's something that has to stay between you and me.
Okay.
Like, absolutely, like, no one else.
Not even listen. I get it. No, it's fine.
Because it's not just about me.
Okay.
It also involves the Raiders.
Okay.
Um,
You seem really nervous. Are you good?
I think it's mostly because I sound sick as fuck. I mean,
You sounded really nervous the other day too. So like.
it's not a bad thing.
Okay.
Mason wants me to be his old lady.
Okay.
What
does that mean with the Raiders? Because every club treats old ladies differently. So.
It's
Like
life.
lost, they blood them in, you know?
Yeah. If I'm remembering from my conversations correctly, it's in the similar vein of there's only one way out of that. So
Okay.
if Mason and I were to ever break up, well,
I had a feeling it was something like you joining the club or something, just from the way you were treating it. But, okay. So, sounds like you'd probably get blooded in and stuff, and would that make you like a full-fledged member of it, or just like an
the
old
way
lady?
it's been explained to me is it's kind of like I think like between Prospect and Patch, because it's like,
Okay. A half-step kind of thing?
yeah. So like you would see me in a cut, you would probably see me. Well, I do hang out with them more than I used to.
Yeah, that's kind of why I assumed, because you weren't calling them the Raiders, you were calling them the club. You were being invited to club stuff, and also you're dating one. So
I think everyone knew this was just a matter of time. I didn't think it was going to be anytime soon. But like for the last like 2.5 weeks, this has been like a process of me like thinking things through. Like, is this what I want? Talking with members of the club, because I don't think it's right to ask them to put that trust in me if they don't know why I came to the city in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a lot of talking about Casey.
And how do you feel about that?
Fucking exhausted.
Because now you're going to insist it's not a them problem, but by becoming one of them, it is going to become a them problem if she tries to do anything.
Yeah. I think
You can ask them not to as much as you fucking want, but you're going to have to accept that they will probably do something to her, whether you like it or not.
I honestly think that's where some of them are at right now too, just because I am important to Mason, with or without being his old lady.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something I've come to accept at this point. Which is hard for me.
I know. You're a stubborn bitch who doesn't like help.
I'm a stubborn bitch who wants to do everything on her own, even when she shouldn't. I have like 2 more conversations to go. 2 more times I have to talk about her. And then I hope I don't have to talk about her again for a long ass time.
Why don't you have those conversations with the two of them together? I only have to talk about it once.
Schedule alignment.
Okay.
Because one is Wade and the other's Max.
Record yourself talking about it and just send them the video. Hi, I've had to have this conversation 10 other times. I would like to not have this conversation again. So here is a recording of the conversation. If you have any questions, please wait until the end.
Once upon a time, there was this girl named Tegan Averill. She got kicked out of middle school and sent to a private school, but it didn't really matter that she got kicked out because her dad was going to send her to private school anyway. Not that she knew that. Anyway, this girl named Casey was really obsessed with her even before she met her.
So her dad sold her to Casey.
Yeah, so her dad essentially sold her into marriage to the Italian mafia and didn't give a damn what happened to her. Then, when she was 18, she was really stupid and got drunk and high and decided to drive herself and her cousin home from a party on a back road in the middle of the night and hit a car, killing both her cousin and the other driver. Casey's father got her off the charges, but that came with a cost. Coming to a theater near you, summer 20 never.
20 never.
Because you'll never guess what happened next. She spent her entire early 20s being forced to do horrific things to people. Otherwise, she was going back to prison, probably for life. Because she did spend a little bit of time in prison for the original incident.
You could dress like a news anchor, do it at LSBN with their green screen, and then just have pictures. Sorry, this is dumb. But how do you feel?
Comfortable.
Okay.
Like, if you had asked me when Mason and I started dating if I was ever going to seriously consider this.
I mean, you and I had all those conversations where we were happy being, individual and not part of a group or anything like that. And I still don't have plans on that kind of thing. But, that doesn't say plans can't change, obviously.
It's one of those things, right? Like, I can't see it any differently right now.
And hopefully, especially if the only way out is being blotted out, hopefully you don't see it any differently ever.
Yeah, that's the hope. But I'm pretty confident.
I know that sometimes when some people leave groups, if they have that kind of relationship or what have you, they'll sometimes not blood them out as like a respect. Maybe being the first old lady, if years and years from now you two break up, they won't blood you out.
I mean, that's the thing, right? It's all dependent on how things go down, if things ever go down.
It would be nice if you didn't break up because you're happy, but
this is the most stable relationship I've ever had.
That's crazy. because you dated you'd married a man that was just
I mean, you
it's
could
good
call
though.
that stable, but like, I genuinely don't think Harvey and I would have stayed together. I mean, think about it. Harvey and I took no time to think about getting married. We just did it.
Just did it. I mean, you also both didn't want to get married and then did get married, so
Yeah. Like, that whole relationship was a series of not thinking things through.
yeah.
And honestly, wanting to prove people wrong to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
My relationship with Mason has just been us, you know? There's been no pressure from people to move things along at a certain pace like there was with Josh. There's been no rush into anything.
Well, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters.
And I am. I mean, for God's sake, we're looking at a house together.
Yeah. And I hope you get the Chumash house. I hope those become available at some point.
Yeah, our last
But
Polito choice is off the market, so.
oh, I mean, there's the 266 foot Grand Sonora Desert house for 378,000.
Yeah, nah.
You could fit a bed and a stove in it.
I think we're good on that.
There's more Vespucci houses available.
But yeah, it wasn't so much that I was worried about like telling you so much as it was just like I've had to have a lot of conversations lately.
Mm-hmm. You scared how I was gonna react or something?
No, it's just a lot of conversations lately.
Gotcha.
And honestly just a lot of self projection on things and it doesn't really matter. Because there was a point in time where Mason and I almost stopped talking entirely. So,
Really?
I don't want to.
Recently?
No, this was like. Remember that day where I had Benny?
Oh yeah, and you sounded pissed that you had to go get Mason? Yeah.
It was around that time. We hadn't seen each other since something happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be real, that whole situation could have ended really badly for me. Which is, again, something that just stays between us.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I fafoed a little bit accidentally. I said something I shouldn't have to someone I shouldn't have said it to.
Oh.
And I, since then, have just never really said anything to anyone. As I got in my own head. Even like the most innocuous things, like I haven't really told anyone about that. But it is part of why I don't really talk about Mason all that much. If that makes sense. Like I'll talk about him, but I won't really talk about him. If that makes sense.
I mean, you kind of always have been like that with your relationships anyway, so I didn't think anything of it. you and your we're not dating, and meanwhile all of us are like, okay, Jan.
Okay, okay. But
I
in
didn't
the
think it was off.
okay, I thought I was off, but I think that feeds into the I overthink a lot of shit. But I had a conversation with Balto about this the other night too. He wants to give Mason the shovel talk because he's like, you know, this means you're essentially getting club married, right? I'm like, but still, Balto, you didn't give Harvey the shovel talk. He's like, bitch, I was in prison. Also, I don't want you to think like this means like I thought you were the wrong person to say something to. I was very, very cautious
Mhm.
in talking to anybody about this.
Nice, good. As long as you're happy and we have an idea of what it means to be an old lady to the Raiders, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, I think the scary part of all this is I would be the first.
Doesn't that mean maybe you kind of get to help with what an old lady means to them?
Yeah, but that's the scary part.
You set the precedent.
I set the precedent. I and that's the scary part. Like, should someone from the club meet someone and be so serious about them that they want them to be their old lady?
I feel like
What?
I feel like an old lady also usually gets vetted too. Like not just
Oh yeah.
anyone becomes an old lady. Like it's something that Winston was telling me. PBMC didn't do old ladies. Like they tried once and it didn't go well, so they just didn't. And if someone was dating someone who wasn't in the club, um, back then for BBMC, as much as they loved and adored those people, um, they were kind of fucked. Old lady basically needs protection, I guess, regardless whether you're in the club or not. And then you have the laws to blood their old ladies in. They can wear cuts and they're basically part of the club. And if they ever break up, they get blooded out. And then I don't know how other groups do it, but I imagine that most groups are pretty similar, except for maybe the blooding in part. I feel like it's really uncommon.
Yeah, I. It's been a little bit since I had my conversation with Lane, and like,
Hmm.
I was a little bit cooked that night. So I don't know exactly how things would happen and like all that, but it was impressed upon me that it is a lifelong commitment.
Just as
So
long as you're sure about it.
yeah, so it's like one of those things of you better be sure.
Hmm.
And I have no doubt that I'm sure.
Then, if you have no doubt that you're sure, then I hope it goes well. As long as I still get to spend time with my sister, I don't give a shit who she associates with, you know?
Yeah. And
Because I'd like to think that you're not going to associate with people who are going to hurt your family. So
it's not like this is gonna happen and then I'm just never around you anymore.
no,
I
I
think
would be
it would-
very upset if that happened.
I think it would be pretty similar to how it is now. Of just like sometimes I go off with Mason
Mm.
doing who knows what. Or, you know. But and Mason pointed this out last night when I commented on something of it would also mean that I do have to not be as hot headed. I can't just
In regards to what? In general?
I can't
or...
just willy nilly decide, you know what? I'm waking up today and choosing violence. I'm slitting someone's throat because they upset me.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that in general.
No, I shouldn't. But that doesn't negate the fact that last night I said to Mason, Tanner's treading dangerously close to getting the Charlotte Spade treatment.
Yeah, I honestly, that whole situation, I even said to Winston, I'm putting a big old skip sticker on that situation.
He upset Happy.
I'm good. And I even said to Tanner, I would have done the same thing. Because I was very department over individual. And if him doing surgery on someone puts the whole department in legal trouble at that point. So
Well, here's the
I
thing.
absolutely would have done it.
Right. Depending on the person, I might have done the surgery, but I would have taken the consequences without complaint after.
You know the worst part of it all? Not the worst part, but like maybe one of the dumbest parts of it all. So Winston was telling me that Tanner told him about it. Tanner said to Winston, he knew the consequences before he did it. He knew what would happen before he did it. He knew it was illegal for him to do it. He knew it was he knew all of these things were going to happen, and he's like, he's angry that he got consequences for his actions.
That's the part that's pissing me off. I'm like, I said to Tanner, you know,
Knew he was going to get in trouble for it.
like, if I had been in a similar situation, it was someone like I loved. Sure, maybe I would also do the surgery, but I'm not gonna complain afterwards that I'm facing consequences or that I'm being arrested.
Okay, yeah, you arrested me for, practicing without a license. Yes, I did that. Okay, I'm not gonna plead guilty to it, so I can try and appeal it and maybe set a precedent later. But like, I just
And the fact that it was 20 gunshot wounds to the face. I don't know, man. I said to him, you know, if EMS hadn't called the police, the board would have had something to say about it.
apparently the board are totally cool with what he did.
I'm sorry, what? Meanwhile,
Yeah.
hold the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when I had to wake up and come in to talk to Misa because she was giving out bandages in the fucking lobby?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Apparently the board is totally cool with what Tanner did, according to Tanner.
But Misa giving out bandages in the lobby is where they draw the line. Okay.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
it was extenuating circumstances.
Bitch, it was extenuating circumstances when Balto was keeping Cleo alive while the doctors got a heart out of a deceased patient for her.
No, the doctors were working on Cleo, and they asked Balto to harvest the heart out of
Yeah,
the dead person.
it was one of... Either way, that was extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, but also the doctors all threw Balto under the bus and apparently said they didn't ask him to do that when they did. Also,
like,
the person was dead. Dead people don't have rights.
They
So
don't.
why are we upset?
because it's Balto and
It's not
fuck
medical
Balto.
when the person's already dead.
At that point, it's just post-mortem.
Yeah. Regardless, yeah, He also told me something that he plans on doing, that he was he pleaded and begged me not to tell anyone about it, but it still doesn't sit right with me, and I'm just like, ugh. He wants to essentially do it again on a grander scale.
I'm sorry, what?
It stays between us because I promised him I wasn't going to tell anybody, but I feel like you will understand. He wants to become grandma. Those were his words. He wants to take people to the prison infirmary with the help of Carmine and perform medical on them, get them out of their cuffs, and send them on their way. He wants to become grandma. And I said, that makes me very uncomfortable, and I don't think it's a good idea.
Well, we already knew that prison was a hellhole.
Yeah.
Grandma has her place, but it's not in the prison.
I mean, he just used it as probably the most, comparable thing, but it doesn't sit right with me. The first thing I said was, don't you ever do that to me. If my options are grandma, EMS, or nothing, I will go with nothing.
Like, here's the thing. Even back in the day, Grandma was not meant for, like, massive traumas.
No. That was kind of the whole thing behind the Aurora issue back in the day, was that she'd been stabbed, got treated at Grandma's, but was still really infected, so I took her to the hospital. And that's how it all started.
In my ideal world, Grandma would be a lot like how, like, news works or any other job. Except it would take a very, very long time for Grandma to trust you. Like, sure, she'll give you bandages and tweezers, but that's it. You know.
And even then, she's not as effective, and you might even just get hurt from her treatment. She's not sterile.
And it just takes you a really fucking long time to become very skilled at what Grandma needs you to help with.
Yeah.
That's my ideal. Because I'd be down to do that shit, but...
It doesn't sit right with me.
I don't know, the fact that he just full on did surgery and then said, well, I have a medical degree.
Yeah, but your medical degree isn't recognized by Los Santos.
That's
Everybody
what I
knows
said.
That.
I said, you're not licensed in Los Santos.
Did I spell carrots wrong?
No, I don't think so.
No, I didn't. Why the fuck did he... What? Why did he change my retweet or my twat to have an A instead of an O? Whatever.
I'm calling him.
Al, what up?
Bev, why did you spell carrots wrong?
No, I fixed it.
What?
I don't think Kiki meant to say carrots. She meant to say
Is
car
he trying
rats.
to say that I did, even though you can
She
go
meant to say
literally...
car rats. No, she meant to say
Yeah.
carrots.
No, I'm pretty sure she meant to say car
Carrots,
rats. Cause
not
think
car
about it,
rats.
rats
What
in
the
a
fuck?
car, cool. Imagine a rat driving a car, pretty cool.
Imagine a rat driving a car. Well, I'm standing next to Kiki right now, and she meant to say carrots.
I
Oh,
did say carrots. I just
whoops.
put spaces between every
Well,
letter.
my mistake. You know,
Just like Remedy here with eggplant.
Okay.
happens to us. Hey, me and you need to talk, by the way.
Carrots in
We do?
Yeah, we do.
All right. Well, I can finish up my conversation with Kiki and meet you somewhere.
Oh, I guess so.
You're making it sound like a hardship, Bev. You're the one that says we need to talk.
Well, you let me know where you want to meet. Goodbye, car rat.
He just called me a car rat.
He said you need to talk. Oh my god, are you guys breaking up?
Oh my god, is Bev breaking up with me?
Bev is breaking up with you.
Oh my god.
I can't believe this.
He told me to tell him where to meet me, and I
Or
think I might
have him step into your office.
I might just have him come up here, and this just be my office for talks right now.
All right.
No,
Well, I'm happy for you, as long as you're happy.
I am.
Good.
How
That's
how
all
would
that
you
matters.
describe this place?
He wasn't here 5 years ago, so he won't know it as the
I'm just
center.
saying, Raton Canyon Overlook.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
Wonder what he wants to talk to me about.
I don't know. He texted me earlier, Cornwood, are you mad? In all caps and stuff. And I was like, the fuck are you going on about? Apparently someone had covered Wasabi in a Cornwood voting sign. To which I was like, no, we didn't consent to that, dog.
He sent me back, was that English? I'm like, yes. It's Raton Canyon Overlook.
Yeah, easy. Between Chiliad and Josiah.
Alright, I just pinged him, so he'll be on his way. Probably in a car, not on a bicycle, so.
Probably.
But I do
How much you want to bet he gets up here and he falls off the hill in the car because he drives too far?
Probably.
Yeah. You're good, dude.
I just
I'm glad
really
it's working out for you, though.
Yeah. He's so good to me.
Good.
It's crazy that the member of a 1% MC is my most stable and healthy relationship. Because you know what's wild?
What?
We communicate.
Yeah, that's not a common thing in this city, is it?
No. Like, we talk about things. And, like, if one of us is upset and doesn't want to talk to the other, we leave them alone until they're ready to talk.
Mm-hmm. It's nice not forcing conversations that people aren't ready for.
It's crazy.
Crazy. I'm gonna go get those potatoes.
All right, you go get those potatoes.
They sprouted while we were talking. That's why I turned around at one point. I was like, the fuck? Oh. I now have potatoes.
Nice.
Do you want me to stay until Bev gets here, or?
I'm good either way.
Okay. I should probably get started on the warehouse so we can start farming in it.
Yeah, I was gonna work wasabi today, but with my voice the way it is,
Yeah, probably best that you don't.
I might go back to bed for a little bit after I talk to Bev, and then come back around whenever Mason wakes up.
Okay.
To be determined.
Stay safe and get some rest. So why is your voice like this?
My going theory is allergies, but I might just be sick.
Could be both.
Could be both.
Well, I will leave
I
you
don't know.
to
It's
it.
almost like little gremlins were putting their hands in my face last week.
Yeah, I love you.
Love you too. Let me take my temperature real quick. Hi, Bev.
That is so far away. I'm gonna come all the way up to the top of a mountain.
It's barely a mountain.
You
Right.
you said overlook.
It is no. It's like not even as tall as Chiliad.
Look, we can have this conversation on the phone. It's not that important. We have it in person.
Okay.
Veronica. Are you gonna become an old lady?
I mean, that is the hope.
Yeah. Look, I've been asked to, okay? I just want to know where your stance is on everything.
I want it.
Sure. How do you feel about all the rules that go along with it, though?
I'm fine with it, honestly.
Really? I thought we could unite.
What do you
I
mean?
understand. I think that some of the rules are far too harsh and much too strict.
Like what?
Wearing your cut all the time, stupid.
I mean,
I'm not in the
I think that one could
gang.
be like relaxed a little bit.
Yeah,
But, like-
it's pretty insane to me.
But like it's not like the end of the world for me.
Okay. Well, look, I guess only some of us have fashion sense then. Cause
Oh my god, Bev.
what? I'm just saying. Somebody else.
Do you just not look good in leather? Is that what it is?
I said they don't look good in leather. I just like wearing a suit. You can't wear a suit on top of a leather cut. It doesn't work.
Sure you can.
No, I asked Lane. She actually said it's not allowed.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and suits
It's
are like
insane.
your whole aesthetic, aren't they?
Right. I'm not gonna become some Wild West biker guy just to, it's ridiculous.
See, it doesn't really like bother me all that much.
God. You already bought in? I see how it is.
No.
Also, the fact that it's a lifelong commitment. That's stupid.
I mean, that tends to be how it goes.
That's dumb. What if you and Mason break up?
Well then, 07.
Yeah, but see, that's stupid. That's dumb. That's goofy. The problem, you want to know what the problem I have with it right now?
What's the problem?
Is that
with
it's basically like you're a full member. Honestly, with the amount of requirements and stuff. I think the real big difference between full member and old lady right now is just what your expectations are to do. I'm not gonna lie, old lady's a lot nicer. You don't have to do as much, for the club. You kind of get to just do your, you don't have to really, be there for all those other club things. But as far as the expectations of you, you're basically expected to commit just as much as a full member.
Well, you have to think of it this way. You're putting on a cut and you're representing the club.
Right, but I don't think that's the way it should be. Like, I think you should represent the club when you're with the club, but other than that, you're your own person.
Yeah, I can get that. Also, have to remember,
Because-
Bev, like, they haven't had an old lady yet.
I know, and me and Lane have talked about this for a long time, and I could have been an old lady a while ago, but I'm hesitant because as much as I love the Raiders, that's not my whole life. Otherwise, if it was my whole life, I'm gonna be honest, I just joined the club.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what I mean. Like, the way it is right now, I would say, why even become an old lady? Why not just join the club?
See, for me, it's a happy medium.
I don't think it's a medium. I think it skews so far to one side. It could be a medium, but right now it's so far on one side.
So like, here's the thing, Beth. Right?
Huh?
Just because like this is like the way I see it right now,
Yeah.
it's kind of like the rough draft of what they want an old lady to be.
Yeah, but are you
Because-
gonna make it? Are you gonna make them make any corrections?
Well, first we have to see how things go, Bev.
I guess
Because
so.
I
just think-
really don't have a right now to say like, shit.
Yeah, I disagree. I think you're valuable. I think if they want you to be an old lady, there's some reasoning behind that. I think it's a bargaining chip more than anything. I mean, that's definitely the way I think about it. If I just go along with everything, then nothing's gonna change.
Fair. But I mean, like, I don't mind it. Like, that's the thing.
Then my question to you is, Via, why don't you just join the club? There's no difference really between the two right now. That's the problem. Except for the fact that if you don't have to do club things.
Like, that's it right there, right? I don't have to do everything that they do.
Okay, so you just don't want to do the club things,
I mean, there's some things.
which is fair, which is valid, but that's just you're just not interested in that stuff.
Like, I don't want to do some of the shit that they do. You know?
Okay. I mean, yeah, fair enough. I mean, they do some crazy shit. But here's the thing. Okay, here's the other thing why I want to talk to you, V, is if you accept, right, you go through with this, you become the old lady, right? Then you kind of, you've accepted all their terms. That is what an old lady is now. Sure, it could change in the future, but that is what it is. They can't really walk that back for anyone else. So if you accept with all the terms that they give you right now, I can't really say, well, I don't want to do this, because they'd be like, well, we already have an old lady and they already do this.
And she already. Like,
Yes.
That's what she does.
So I lose my bargaining chip if you accept. That's the thing. But I'm not gonna stop you from accepting. I just wanted to know if you're where your head was at.
Like, is.
But it seems like you're down for all of it.
Like, your biggest issue right now, just so I'm clear, like, what are your biggest issues?
Right. Well, cut thing is obviously an issue for me. It's actually a genuine issue just because I also don't want to, part of the appeal of being an old lady is I don't have to be representing the club 24/7, right?
Yeah,
That's
I
like
can
one of the
agree with
big
that.
appeals. So like, if I have to represent the club 24/7, then it's like, well, I just become a full member. I wouldn't bother with the old lady stuff.
Yeah, I can
Right?
see where you're coming from on that.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. And then I think just a reevaluation of what's expected of an old lady. I think is important because right now, from the vibe I got when I had my talk with Ling, they're basically like a part-time member of the club where they don't really have to do anything with the club, but they can do things with the club, but they're given all the club secrets, and they're expected to withhold all those secrets, and you have some say in votes, but not all the say in votes and stuff. But also it's like a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, and from the outside, right, people are going to look at you and be like, yeah, they're just a member of the Raiders, right? They won't say you're an old lady. They won't give two shits, right? If they're in war, if Raiders ever get into war, right? It's like Chain Gang or something. Chain Gang's just going to be like, oh, no, they're in the club. And you can tell them, no, I'm just an old lady. And they'll be like, no, you're obviously in the club. You're wearing a cut. You hang out with them all the time. You're clearly in the club.
I would assume, like,
puts
if
you in
they
the
were to get into
crossfire.
a war, that would be a circumstance where, like, the old ladies don't wear their cuts. Because that just puts
Maybe.
a target on their back.
Maybe, but we should. But I do think we should clarify that. And even if they don't wear the cuts, like you're still expected to represent the gang in all those senses.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mason and I had a talk last night where I said I wanted to do something. And he's like, well, let's put a pin in that because that could be a bigger issue sooner rather than later.
Yeah. See, well, that's my thing is that, like, I'm not going to lie. Look at me. I'm a goofy little guy. I can't be expected to represent the Raiders in that sense and uphold all their values because they're a very serious motorcycle club. And I am not going to change my entire personality to be an old lady for them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. it feels like right now you're expected to withhold too much, like uphold too much.
Yeah, I was about to say, what do you mean withhold too much? Because I'm like,
Yeah,
the
uphold,
whole
sorry.
thing is like, you're not out there like saying every little thing you're told by the raiders to people. Like, that'd be fucked.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm having more hesitancy with it than you, but like I said, I would never want you not to do it because
You
I
and
actually
I
do think
also
it's
have
the right thing.
very different backgrounds.
Yeah, yeah. No, and like I said, V, you are more accustomed to a certain lifestyle than I am. Again, we do have very different backgrounds. I just know that once you accept, then that kind of sets the stonework already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're the first one in, and it's harder to budge from there.
No, I get what you're saying.
But I wouldn't want you not to accept. I just wanted to know if you like feel the same way about things, if you're planning to like talk to them about anything or whatever.
I mean, there's some things that Mason and I can stand to talk about, and then he can, in turn, talk to the club about. But like, I'm gonna be real. Most of my week has been spent talking with the club about stuff. So, and it's been about stuff that I can't wait until I don't have to talk about it again.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I just think there's a better way to go about it, to gauge for my specific interests. But that also could just mean that I'm not what they're looking for that, which
like,
is totally fine as well.
Here's the thing, right? With like, I know like the Lost, their old ladies are blooded in and blooded out.
That's crazy to me. That's insane to me.
But like that's how they do things.
Yeah.
One of my friends was an old lady for the Lost, and he got blooded out when him and his partner broke up.
Crazy.
But I mean, that's kind of part and parcel for the kind of life that they lead.
I agree.
Because here's the thing, Bev, like, your connection to the club is through the person who wants you to be their old lady.
I know.
If that connection is no longer there.
Oh yeah. I mean, you shouldn't be gone. Like, absolutely. But what I'm saying is you're placing too much weight on that person's shoulders as it is right now. At least that's from my point of view. I think there's too much weight being placed on the shoulders for a relationship that could potentially falter or whatever. Because you're right, everything's based on that one connection.
Well,
that's why I think it should be a little bit less of a load.
Like, here's the thing, right? It's an option to become an old lady, right? And the way it's been presented to me is that even if I were to say that it's not what I want, it's not like they'd tell me to go fuck myself if something happened. Because I'm still important to Mason.
Oh, I know. And
at the end of the day, like, what it brings to you is you can know shit. Like, there doesn't have to be any secrets between you and your person anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, V, I'm not gonna lie. For me, being an old lady is not, if I was just a regular old guy, just walking in and didn't know anybody, hell no, right? I'm doing this 90% for Lane, 99% even for Lane. Lane's the one who wants me to be the old lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not opposed to that because I want to help the Raiders grow. I think they could use help growing. I think that right now that's the biggest problem they have is they need more connections and they need to grow and they need their name to spread more and more. And I can bring all that to the table. And I want to bring that to the table. But the problem is that based on my talks with Lane, she feels like the only way that could be possible is for me to be an old lady. And I'm having a hard time with the current regulations and rules of what they want out of an old lady for me to see myself fit into that. But I still want to help the club. So it's put me in a spot where it's like, I'm not opposed to it. But right now, it's far too much. You're asking far
Right
too much of
now,
me.
the benefits to you aren't there.
Yeah, exactly. That's basically it. I mean, I'm mainly just doing it for Lane right now is the way it is.
Mm.
And I love the people in the club. I want to help them. That's the whole thing. But I just, uh, yeah, it's tough. It's a tough spot for me. But it does seem like it does appeal to other people. It appeals to you, and that's good. So then, you know,
But I
I
think
think that
I
I
think
need to
it's
just go
worth
back to the
it
drawing
to
board with Lynn.
yeah. I think it's worth it to have these discussions because I mean, you do make valid points, Bev.
Right.
And like I'll talk with Mason later, if you don't mind.
Oh
Bring
yeah,
that up.
I've kind of already talked with him actually about all that stuff. So feel free. You're more than
Okay.
welcome.
Yeah,
I've talked with him a lot about a lot of this already.
because I can also see where his head is at on his thoughts and stuff.
Yeah,
Because
You're,
here's the thing, Bev. Like I said, I feel like this is very much a work in progress for how they want things to go.
sure. No, I agree. I think it's going to evolve a lot, but my original point still stands. The second one of us accepts, right? Second you accept, second I accept, it basically sets in stone the groundwork. Can the
I would
groundwork be changed? Yes, but it's going to be a lot harder when somebody's already joined and has already accepted those terms.
I wouldn't say it's difficult to change it. I think it's more of a all right, we tried it this way with the very first. The very first is kind of like almost like a trial run.
Yeah.
You know, it could very well be like there's things that they think that they want to be true for old ladies and then like in practice once it's you or I.
I mean, it'll probably be you. I mean, because you're basically. I mean, it sounds like you're already like, willing to
Yeah.
accept,
But like
which is fine. Makes sense.
either way, like once one of us is there, it could be like, oh, you know what, this actually doesn't work in practice.
Yeah.
Or like we thought this would make more sense, but like, you know what, it's actually kind of unfair to expect this, that, or the other thing.
I agree. Honestly, I just I just don't think it's the right fit for me. I think that's really what it comes down to. I honestly just don't think my
Well,
lifestyle is conducive to it. I think I need to find another way to help.
here's the other thing too. You don't have to make a decision tomorrow.
I know, but like I said, once you're in, right, then I have to wait because the rules are set in stone and they will change, but it takes time. And once the rules are set in stone, and I don't have the bargaining chip of being able to change them because somebody else has already accepted them, and it'd be unfair to have different old ladies play by different rules, right? I have to wait for those rules to change, and by that time, who knows how long it could be, you know. So I just feel like this specific role probably just isn't for me.
I mean, that's a possibility too, and it's something you have to come to on your own.
Yeah. No. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the specific role appeals. I see the appeal of it to people now, and I think that you are much more suited to it, and I think that it also appeals to your lifestyle a lot more because I think also like the big thing is an active relationship between you and Mason. You know what I mean? I feel like that also helps you
Yeah,
want to
I
be
can see
more
that.
in it. You know what I mean?
Of it's
Whereas like
like
my relationship's like, oh, like we're best friends, but it's like I don't spend a lot of time with Lane normally. You know what I mean?
where it's like Mason and I, we practically live together at this point,
Yeah.
and like there are things that he can't tell me because it's none of my business because I'm not involved with the club.
Right, exactly. And so for you, it's like that. And like, I mean, Lane sometimes have with those problems. And mostly when she wants to vent about something or ask advice or whatever. But it's not nearly as frequent as probably what you and Mason encounter.
Yeah, but I do think it's conversations worth having.
Sure, I will have them. I mean, that's why I called you in the first place. You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to everyone about this. Me and Lauren have had several talks about it. I just feel bad every time because it's very clear to me that Lane wants me to be a part of this club in a in a pretty large way, but
Is your
it's
lifestyle
hard. I just
conducive
can't
to it?
justify it with my lifestyle. Yeah, I just can't.
Because
Even though I
you
want to help.
also have a lot of like business stuff going on and like a very
Right.
particular way of how you present yourself to the world.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And that's it. And the problem is, like, I just want to help the club. But it's so hard to help the club because they're so secretive about everything, and like I can't help if I don't know, and then I can't know unless I do this or that, but I can't do this or that because it's the cycle we've been in. It's the cycle we've been in.
Yeah. Because like one side would have to give for you to
Right. Yeah, like one side would have to budge, right? And right now nobody's willing to budge.
yeah, I think it's a conversation worth having.
Yeah.
Like I can see where you're coming from on the not wanting to wear a cut 24/7. Like where for me like it doesn't really bother me all that much.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, because I mean that makes sense. And I'm sure most these days most people probably associate with you with the Raiders in general too.
I wouldn't be surprised if
Just
people
because
just
you
make
spend a
the
lot of time with
assumption.
them. Yeah.
Granted, the assistant chief of police did say to Mason that he better be careful with that one because she's crazy and she'll slit his throat.
I mean, he's not wrong.
What?
What V you are capable of some I would say crazy, but cool. It's cool.
You slit
You're
one
capable.
person's throat and you're not even like convicted of it. And
Oh, that just shows you're willing to do it again. Let's say somebody slit Mason's throat. I guarantee you would go over there and slit their throat too, huh?
worse.
Oh God.
Carmine's
Yo,
lucky I
I
didn't
like
fucking
that,
find him
though.
the night that he shot Mason.
See?
But like that's part of the conversation that Mason and I had last night because there's someone who I said, Mason, I really want to Charlotte Spade them soon if they keep this up. And he's like,
Damn.
well, let's put a pause on that one because that might cause more issues. in the
Envy,
near
do you know
future.
who sells Pineapple Express? Do you know whose turf that is?
I don't.
I just found 100 bags of it that somebody just thought they'd tuck away on a rooftop. I know where it is now.
They probably ditched it because cops got called.
Maybe. I feel like I know who sells Pineapple Express though. I wonder
I know like 0% about weed.
who is it? Would you know? What's your guys' strain? Is it?
Fuck if I know, Bev.
I remember the old strain. I don't remember. I think Lane changed it because you guys. Because now you're selling the.
Bev,
I guess you probably.
when
don't
I
sell the
tell
weed,
you I
now
know
they're selling
nothing
the
about weed,
Oh, I know. I had to learn secondhand. We
I
used to be
know.
the Weed Kings back in the company.
back in my day,
Back in my day. Now, I hope to never touch that stuff again.
tired of it.
I'm tired of all crime. That's why me and Mickey. That's why me and Mickey quit. To be honest, I mean, except for heists, we want to do a lot of heists, but other than that, like we could care less about drugs and all the rest of it. Turf and all that. Ugh.
You want to rob banks?
Yeah, not even that we want to do it. We just want to plan it. We're big planning guys.
Plan it and have other people do it.
Exactly. Set it up, make sure it runs successfully. Bada bing, bada boom.
You want to be quest givers.
High level crime. Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, that is honestly the goal is quest givers. Yeah, we'll get there. We actually have a game plan in motion, so actually it'll happen sooner rather than later. But
Oh yeah. Well, I hope it works out for you.
thanks. All right, well, wait. Do you know when Lane gets back?
I'm not sure.
Is it today or tomorrow?
I think it might be tomorrow from what Mason said.
Or maybe it was tomorrow or Wednesday. I think it was tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah, she's real upset with me right now, so I had no You know, I had a conversation with her recently.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because she stole my girl.
Ah.
Right, yeah. So she's kind of like the worst friend possible right now.
So you're mad at Lane right now.
I would consider it to be more like furious, but yeah.
Gotcha.
What? How could I not be? She's trying to ruin my life.
I mean, I wouldn't call that ruining your life.
Oh yeah? What if your best friend decided to date Mason? What then? That'd be pretty terrible, wouldn't it?
That wouldn't happen.
But what if it did?
My friends know what I'm capable of, Bev.
So I just have to kill her.
No! Bev! Over a girl? No.
You just said the same thing about Mason.
Okay, but who's the girl in question, Bev?
Oh, well, April Fools, of course.
You're willing to throw away your relationship with Lane over April Fools.
Hey! I'm not willing to do it, but Lane clearly is, considering she ran off with her.
Bev,
Yeah?
this is the same April Fools who has a song called If You're Broke, I'm Busy.
Oh, yeah, I'm in that.
I'm just saying, I don't think that's the kind of person who's worth throwing away a years-long friendship over.
What? Again, tell that to Lane. She's the one who ran off with her. Knowing that it would upset me.
Uh-huh.
This is a Lane problem.
But also, like, you can do better, Bev.
Stupid!
You can do
What do you
better than April Fools. It's like, here's the thing, Bev.
How dare you?
Here's the thing. Give it a month and she'll move on to the next guy who's just gonna throw money at her.
See, that's the difference. That's the difference. I've never given April a dime.
Really?
Yeah, not a single dollar.
That's crazy.
And I told her I'm never gonna give her any money.
Because, like, when Tanner and I split up, immediately,
Wait, you and Tanner were together?
for a little bit,
I had no
unofficially.
clue. Oh my god.
This is like at the start of the year. We broke up on New Year's.
Oh my god. I had no clue.
Yeah, it was like a very short-lived thing, and then he was going out with April and giving her all his money.
Oh yeah, no, that's. You could put quotes over going out. I don't know if anyone really goes out with April, to be honest.
They just give her things.
Yeah, basically.
So, like, why are you really upset with Lane then?
Well, that is what.
But you just said yourself, like, April
It's
doesn't
the
really go out
principle
with
of the matter. It's the principle of the matter. I told Lane time and time again, you are not allowed to date or fall in love with April. I told her, right? This is the principle of the thing, right? As a friend, I told her this, and then she went and did it.
But right, who says
So
that
to
she's
me, it
falling
shows
in
she
love
doesn't
with April?
respect my friendship. Because she said she was they planned a date. They were going to go on a date together.
Right, but a date doesn't equate love, Bev.
Right, but I told her not to. I asked her not to, and she did it anyways. She clearly doesn't respect me or my friendship. Otherwise, she wouldn't have done it.
I think when Lane gets back, you just need to have a conversation with her about how you're feeling.
Maybe. I don't know if she's really worth my time these days.
Oh my god, Bev. People say I'm dramatic.
I am not dramatic. I
You
am
are
a perfectly
being-
rational, normal person.
You are being so dramatic right now.
You being so mean.
Am I wrong?
Oh, you are wronger. You are wronger than a clock that's broken. Okay?
Oh my god.
Yeah. You know what? You know what? Oh, you don't think it's that big of a deal? I guess I'll just go date Mason. I'll go on a date with Mason. It's not that big of a deal.
Bev.
You're gonna throw away the friendship, huh?
Bev!
That's right. And and a little secret for you. I know that Mason likes me.
What?
Yeah, that's right. I read his journal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, he's actually, I think he's in love with me, to be honest.
Didn't you
The
try
heart wants
convincing
what it
him that
can't
I
have.
was in love with you?
Oh, that makes sense. You both had to settle. Neither of you could
What?
settle with each other, kind of thing. So, V, I respect me and Mason's friendship. Otherwise, who knows what could have happened.
Uh-huh.
But I respect him far too much. I've only Lane to learn to respect friendships.
I really think you just need to talk to Lane when she gets back.
If she gets back. For all I know, they could be in the Poconos by now.
Bev,
What?
you're spiraling.
I am not spiraling.
Take it
It's
from
all
a
these
chronic
Caltine bars. They've been affecting my emotions.
Caltine bars. Isn't that the thing from Mean Girls that like makes you gain
I
like a
don't
fuck
know
ton of
why
weight?
everyone keeps talking about Mean Girls. No. April said that Caltine bars are really healthy and they
No,
actually
they're
make you lose
not.
weight. I've been eating like 20 a day. I look fine.
Yeah, but you're having mood swings.
I'm not having mood swings. How dare you suggest I've been having mood swings?
You're
I've
having
been the
mood
most rational
swings.
I've ever been.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Okay,
You're
and
insisting
and
that
and
Lane ran off with April Fools.
because she did.
She did.
She's crazy.
Pretty sure April's been around, has she not?
No, they both left the exact same day, and ever since then I've been eating all these Caltine bars. 20 a day.
Stop
I tell
eating
you,
so
20 a
many Caltine bars, Bev.
April says they're good for me.
They're not good for you.
You liar.
Bev, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to help, like, malnourished people gain weight.
No, you don't know what you're talking about. You cotton-headed nitty muffin.
What did he just call me? Alright, well, once we get back to the apartments, everything's fine. That was an interesting conversation. And I think V is going to talk to Mason about it later. She's definitely going to talk to Mason about it later. Because, I mean, here's the thing. She gets where Bev is coming from. She does. But from V's point of view, her and Bev come from very different backgrounds and have very different lifestyles. Where, like, she's vibing with what's being asked of her if she takes on this role. Whereas Bev is just, like, has, like, XYZ issues, and I think part of it, like, a big... something like that. I think it was. It's like, here's the thing. And, like, I think V can see it, too, of, like, Bev... He was mixing movies so much. The way Bev presents himself and lives his life in Los Santos, it very well might not be for him. But that's also something Bev has to come to his own conclusion on. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, it very well might just be that it's just not for Bev. And while V understands where he's coming from about, like, you know, if you accept, like, I lose my bargaining chip, V's also of the mindset of just because I accept under these terms doesn't mean those terms can't change. Right. It's like, you know, just because she's okay with the terms as they stand doesn't mean that they can't change once things settle and they're like, you know what? Turns out we don't like this. And like, we want to change this. It's kind of hard to make decisions on how you want something to look when, for all intents and purposes, that thing doesn't exist yet. So, like, I think it's very much so more of a situation of, like, sure, there's some things that'll get workshopped before anyone is in that role. But there's some things that, you know, are likely going to change once someone is in that role. Because you don't know how things are going to go until someone is in that position. That's the way I see it. That's the way he sees it. Because, like, not to compare it to EMS, but it's like, how many times did EMS change how paramedic functions? Right? They're not the same thing, but it's the same premise of, like, you have this position and, like, out of the gate you want it to work this way, but then you get someone in that role and you realize, you know what, no, we want to change how this works and what this looks like. Because I think that's another thing, like, with how Veronica is too, of like, there are definitely structural similarities between a government entity and MCs in that regard, of like, you know, you want things to look a certain way, but then you have to change how things are once, like, it's actually at play. How surprising. Heaty at the bun. But I'm gonna hop off server for a bit. Yeah. That's the thing too. I'll probably be back later, but I'm not gonna be streaming. I think hopefully Wade talk tomorrow, depending. The only reason I didn't come around and try to do it today is because when I woke up at 12:30, my voice was even worse. I got on server just to this is not where my apartment is. It's just Wade and Max at this point. Because V spoke with Lane, she spoke with Rue, she spoke with Dax, she's spoken with Wally. Now it's just down to Wade and Max. And Max is going to be the tough one because my schedule and Kate's schedule don't necessarily align right now. Well, like, here's how I've been doing it. I actually, hold on. I have, like, the dates written down somewhere. Because I'm a nerd like that, and I like to keep note of important things for V. Mason first approaches Veronica on the 6th. On the 10th, V talks with Lane. On the 14th, she talks with Rue. 18th, she talked with Dax. 19th, she talked with Wally. V's trying to space it out. Because what she's talking to them about is incredibly difficult for her to talk about. No, that's not what I want to do. I want that. She's getting back in her pajamas. Alright. But yeah, she's been taking some time between the talks. Yeah. I mean that's what makes it a little bit easier. And I have a 4-day weekend this week, so, and there's also the chance that I might not even make it into work this week. Because if my voice sounds like this or worse tomorrow, I cannot go to work. Because 90% of my job is speaking and talking. And if I can't talk, I can't work. I guarantee you I'll walk into work and I'll be told, why are you here? Go home. Get some rest. Who do I want to raid? Let's see. You know what? We'll raid Chase. The little stir. Little shit stir. And hopefully we'll be back tomorrow, but it really depends on how my voice sounds. If he does talk to Wade tomorrow, I'll try to stream it depending on how I'm feeling. Because I really hate that I didn't stream all the talks that she's had. But yeah, I hope to be back at least at some point this week.